Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Advocacy. We have a family on here, the Davis family. Thank you for joining us tonight. So, I want to start off by introducing myself as Advocacy's founder. My name is Paula Armstrong. I'm married. I live in the DMV, and I have two children. Jeremy is 24, and Morgan is 20, and Morgan has multiple disabilities. Bunny?
Hello, everybody. I am Bunny. I live in the Maryland area. I am married with three adult children, and I advocate for my autistic grandson, Grayson, who is 7 years old.
Okay. Katina?
My name is Katina Davis. I am also from the DMV area. I am here this evening with my mother and my sister, Kimberly, who has a disability. She is 48 years old, and we're going to be talking tonight about what life has been like and how we have navigated with Kim and her disabilities and how she is excelling in a lot of different areas, and she'll share some of that with us on the call tonight.
Okay. Miss
Hello,
Deborah.
my name is Kimberly Davis, and I'm also from Fort Washington, Maryland, and I'm here with my mother
And your sister.
and my sister.
All right, Miss Deborah.
I am Deborah Davis, and I'm originally from the Eastern Shore of Virginia, but I've been here over 50 some years. So this is sort of home too. I have two daughters, Katina and Kimberly. Um, Kimberly has an intellectual disability, and she's had that from birth, but we have just had tremendous outcomes with everything she has tried. So Kim is excelling very well. Little shy, but you'll see she will talk tonight whenever you ask her something. And then sometimes she may shy a little bit, but she's doing very well.
Yes, yes. Well, I wanted to say, I don't know how long I've known you guys. I think Morgan is going on 20. So Morgan is 20. So I want to say that I met you guys probably, I think it's been about 20 years, Katina.
I met you
Um,
when Morgan was pregnant. I mean, I met you when you were pregnant with Morgan.
wow. So it's been
Yeah.
about 21 years. And
Mm-hmm.
I will say for me, and I've told your mom, I think your family was one of the families that I felt most comfortable around when I had Morgan because I felt like I was at home because I didn't have to explain Morgan. I didn't have to make any adjustments with Morgan. And so for me, I felt really comfortable around this family. And I wanted to start off saying that because I really consider you guys family. Um, and with that being said, I guess we'll jump right in. Our subject is guiding individuals with different abilities from childhood to adult. So I guess I'll start off with you, Miss Deborah. Can you tell us how this all started?
Um, when Kim was a baby, everything was falling in line until she was about maybe 12 months old. She would stand alone for hours, but she would not attempt to walk.
Mhm.
And she would try to talk, but it was like she couldn't bring it out. She was trying very hard. And I kept going, taking her to the doctor and telling them what was going on. And they kept saying, well, you cannot compare her with your other daughter. Children are different. And I'm trying to explain to them that's not what I'm doing. Something is not right.
Mhm.
She should be walking. She will stand alone for hours, but she was just would not move.
Mhm.
And after for maybe about when she was about 12 months or 13 months, she would get tired of standing, so Children's Hospital, and have her tested. They really didn't want to do that, but eventually they did. I took her to Children's and they did a hearing and seeing test.
Mhm.
And listen, Miss Davis, she's fine in that department. There's, we can't find anything wrong with that. But we do have a program in Prince George's County schools for preschoolers. And they can go there and anything that they need help with as far as speech or helping them walk or whatever else, they have that in the school. So Kim was only 3
Mhm.
at this time, and I wasn't ready to send her to a big school. So I'm like,
Right.
so, who will be working with her? And they says, well, it'll be a speech therapist and there are teachers there. They know how to handle the children and she would be just fine there. Well, I really wasn't too happy about doing that, but I know she needed it. So I agreed. My husband did not want to do it at all. No, she's too small to go to a school with all those big children because it was an elementary school. James Ryder Randall is where the
Oh.
program was. And he said, "Oh no, she's too small to be going into school with those big children. No, we're not going to do that." And I says, "Yeah, I think we're going to do it." So then, how's she going to get there? I said, "Well, they told me they would provide transportation, but if they don't, I'll just quit work and take her. She needs this. We want to try this to see what's going on." So Kim got into the program, and after about 6 months, Kim was speaking clearly. You could understand everything she was saying. She was speaking clearly. So we had the speech taken care of. Well, I missed this part. She started walking at 18 months.
Okay.
Okay.
So she was behind in the walking. And, we had tried everything. And one day we were all sitting there, and all of a sudden, Kim walked across the floor. And she
Did it at her
started,
own time.
and we were like, oh my goodness, she's walking. And so from then on, she just went on with the walking. And so anyway, the speech was taken care of. So they start, working with her with other things like the ABCs and all of that. And the ABCs, she could say them, but she didn't really recognize them right away.
Mhm.
But after a while, that came into play. The only problem that she had, the numbers, she could recognize the numbers, but when you wanted her to add those numbers together, she just could not get that.
Mhm.
So she tried that for a long time. And after that, they just started doing other things. They did the hooked on phonics
Mhm.
because she was trying to read. So they did the hooked on phonics, and eventually she started reading.
Wow.
So she was able to do it, but she did it at her time.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that she didn't do it at all. She just did it differently. A lot of things she recognized differently from what other people did,
But
but
she
she
does get
recognized,
it.
you
She
know.
does get it. And that's
But
a great point that I think that's being made too, is that I think sometimes I think we think that they have to do it the same way as
mhm,
everybody else. And I think as long as they accomplish the goal, it's not always that they have to do it the same way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that point that you made. Hmm.
It's funny that you mentioned James Ryder Randall. My grandson went to that school and he's 7. So he
mhm,
started going there when he was just a little over 2 years old.
mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I went to Children's and they told me about that.
Hmm.
'Cause,
Mm.
the doctors, they just weren't any help at all. They just kept telling me, well, you're trying to compare her with your other daughter. It'll happen, but some of these things should be happening now.
Yeah.
And now they have early intervention. I know that's one of the programs that Morgan was in. Early intervention where they start early on. So you're right. It's like when you recognize certain things as parents, it's like, why can't we get started on that right away? Because we may need to get a head start on that goal, versus us sitting and waiting and
Right.
wondering, okay, why didn't they accomplish that goal? We may need an early start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
The things are much
Katina,
different
jump in
now.
too.
They
Tell us
have
how.
more
Mhm.
for them because I had no help at all back then. This was in the 70s.
Oh, that was more
And
important because most of the
they
programs that we have now we didn't have.
yeah, they would have been satisfied, okay, just let her sit home or
Mhm.
send her to a babysitter and you know, just don't worry about even sending her to school or whatever, just to let her stay. And this is the type of attitude some of them had.
Mm.
And I just kept pushing.
Mm.
That's one thing we do as parents. We
That's what
push.
I was about to say.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. You can't push us in a corner and say, "Yeah, it'll happen." It's like no, and it's not for me. I think it's not always that Morgan accomplishes the same goal as Jeremy. It's just the fact that I'm gonna push her to her point of
Right.
success, and I think that's what everybody needs to understand too, that just because they didn't accomplish it the same way or at the same time doesn't mean that it's not an accomplishment.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And I know one thing doctors or teachers may say, not to compare your children to each other.
Hmm.
But if you've already raised a child, that's pretty
Right.
much the
See
benchmark.
it.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
like, okay, at a certain age, there should be some milestones that all children should reach. So
Right.
you kind of do look at your your child that you previously raised and like, okay, well, she was walking at this age, and here it is, she's almost 2 and she's not walking. So you do kind of compare,
Hmm.
not to say that they should be doing exactly the same
Mhm.
thing, but there is a benchmark that we should be looking for. It's like they have these guides on when to get those immunizations, the shots and things like that. There's a schedule for everything in life,
Mhm.
developmental
Absolutely.
schedule. Hmm.
So, Katina, can you jump in and tell us, first of all, the age difference with you and Kim, and then tell, because I know I've heard some stories. You've told me stories about you and Kim. Can you jump in and tell us, you being the older sister,
Hmm.
tell us what your experience looked like?
Sure. So we are almost exactly 4 years apart. And just listening to my mother talk about when Kim started walking and all of those early years, I have a very good long term memory. So I remember we were in our apartment in Camp Springs when Kim started walking across the living room. I remember at 3 years old, the bus would pick her up at the top of our street. My next door neighbor used to babysit us. And so sometimes I would walk up the street to get her from the bus. Um, some of the kids that Kim went to school with, even at 3 years old, she's in a program now where she like goes out and works every day. She's
Yeah.
still with some of those kids all these years later.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yep.
Um, let me see, what else can I remember? Kim has
How did it
always been into music.
Yes.
Her
How did you feel
favorite.
being to the older sister, that in a sense you were kind of her protector, and then I'm sure you kind of stepped in as the second mother? How did you feel in those roles?
So we didn't go, of course, we didn't go to school together, but like we went to like Sunday school and we used to go to these church activities with um, my neighbor's family. And so there were times that I had to be the protector because other kids would kind of look at her and wonder why she did things differently or, maybe didn't act the way that they thought that she should act. So in those instances, yes, I was very much the protector or and or would kind of explain it away or shelter her and those kinds of things. What else can I tell you? One thing I will say, and my mother will probably agree, um personality wise, Kim is probably much more independent than I ever was.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Hmm.
What
um
cute. Yeah, and I
And
want Kim to jump in and respond to some of the things that Katina is talking about as well.
Do
Like,
you
She's gonna be like, "What did you say, Katina?" Kim, I
remember?
was telling them how you always like music.
yeah. Tell me about how you like music. Different
I
stuff that
like
you like.
all different kinds of music.
I heard you sing in the choir too.
Yes.
Wow.
can you dance to any of those
I love
musical?
it.
Can you dance to the music?
Yes.
So what's some of the songs you lead in church? I heard that you've led some songs too.
Mhm.
Because of who you are, and God is doing something wonderful.
All right. Yes. I told her mom, I said I would love to see those videos because Kim, one thing that I love about you is that you have exerted your independence to a certain extent. I love that. And I think that so
Mhm.
many people I wanted to put you on display, not trying to, I know you're a little shy, but I wanted to just kind of magnify things for you for our listeners to show them that you can be independent, you can live a great life, and it's I'm sure you do you think your life is great?
Yes.
Okay. And for me, I want everybody to see and know all your accomplishments. What's some of the other things that you like to do?
Well, some of the stuff I like to do,
Hmm.
Mhm.
I like going out in the community, on my job,
Hmm. Tell
going
us
to
about your
church
job too,
every
and tell us
Sunday.
your job. What's your job?
You gotta speak up louder.
Opportunities Inc., located in Lanham, Maryland.
Mm,
I really
okay.
enjoyed it.
What do you do there?
We go out in the community, like we go to Planet Fitness and Walmart, to the library.
You volunteered.
We volunteer there.
Okay.
That is
So,
awesome.
so, Mom, you have to kind of like fill in some of the blanks because I don't remember everything. But so Kim has worked there probably since she was like 21, 22.
Yes.
And when
Mhm.
she first started, they stayed on site at the facility in Lanham, and they did basically repetitive activities that worked for their skill level. So large copy job, I mean not large copy jobs, but like if a company needed a bunch of envelopes stuffed or postcards labeled, they would do things like that. And those are the things I could think of. It may have varied.
Just tell us
um,
some of the things you do.
is that right, Kim?
Yes,
Tell
you're
them,
right.
and tell them
Okay.
some of the other things you do.
We did
You should shrink wrap.
shrink wrap and collate and
The, for the cleaners.
huh?
We need you to help the cleaners
Oh yeah, we used to I
wrap
forgot,
the hangers
wrap the hangers
for the cleaners.
for
Oh,
the
for the cleaner.
cleaner.
Mhm.
And like Kim, I
CD.
don't mean to interrupt.
CD.
I'm just gonna say one thing, Kim. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Um, so the van picks Kim up at our house. And Paula, you know how protective my mother is. When Kim first started working there, the guy that drove the van was our neighbor. He lived like 3 or 4 doors down. Um, and so how long did he, I don't know if he was the very first driver, but he drove for a while. So we had the safety of knowing this person who lives like 3 doors down from us
Mhm.
drives the van. Um, and then it evolved. They kind of changed their model a little bit. Was it before COVID or they were talking about it before COVID?
They were talking about it, but they weren't doing anything about it. But then after COVID,
That's
it
when they were,
actually happened.
yeah. So that's when they were talking about the Kim, what do they call you at work? The clients, right? What do they
Yeah,
call you? The,
Yeah.
the
yes.
clients would go out into the community.
Mhm.
Um, which my mother was not comfortable with, like to the point where she went out there and was like, Kim's going to quit. And she just was not on board at all.
That'll be me. I ain't even gonna lie.
So,
Tell my side of that story.
again, yes, again, a lot of Kim's friends that she even started with at James Ryder Randall, she's still with them. My mother's still in contact with their parents. A girl that I went to high school with, her brother works with Kim, a couple of people from church. So the community has kind of like stayed with us. And so eventually my mother was like, well, what do you think about this, to somebody else, one of the other moms? And eventually they were like, well, I think I might. He said he's not opposed to it, so I think I might let him try it. So then my mother kind of came off the fence a little bit. And Kim, you've been doing it for like a couple of years now, but I feel like it's not exactly how they described it before. At first, it was supposed to be like going out to work, whereas now they're just kind of more so just being out and about in the community. Like she said, going to the library and doing stuff like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kim.
Well, there are some of the people that are working, but I did not choose that route.
Okay.
Mainly because I have gone out in the community and seen some of the people in the stores working, and they were not treated fairly. They were being yelled at, and sometimes you have to tell them 2 or 3 times how to do something, and they just were not treated fairly. And I said, no, she will not do that.
I don't blame you on that one.
When I went in, I chose for her to just do the volunteer part.
Okay.
And I didn't want the work.
Now, was there someone overseeing that process? Because it seems like
at a certain point, they're on their own.
Okay.
When they first go out, there's someone with them. Okay. But then if they're they're going to be on a job and they're getting paid, then they're on their own.
Okay.
And I didn't care about the money. I just rather her be happy. So I wasn't going to have her in the stores or somewhere working and someone yelling at her. That just wasn't going to happen. So, I just didn't choose that part of it.
Well, was there ever a time, Kim, that you felt as though you were not treated fairly and you came to your mom or to Katina to let them know that you felt like someone treated you in a bad way?
Yes.
Okay. So you conveyed that to them. And then at that point, because you feel comfortable naturally with your mom and with Katina, to let them know that somebody is mistreating you. And that's a great thing to have. So is that something that happened, Ms. Debbie? Is that the reason why you felt like that, or is that something you observed?
That's something I observed. It wasn't Kim, it was other people that I knew.
Okay.
That I had seen this happen to.
Okay.
And no, it wasn't Kim. No.
Okay. Well, I remember, I will tell her, and I said this to Katina and to her mom. I was talking to her mom one day, and she told me that they were going to Disney World and they wanted her to go. And her mom, I ain't gonna lie, that I told her, I said, I'm the same way. She was like, no way. They not taking my daughter. And if I'm not mistaken, it was an overnight trip or a couple of days.
No, it wasn't overnight.
All one day, but they were flying.
One day.
Yeah.
They were flying them down. One of the organizations, I think Sunshine Club or something, had given them a trip to Disney World. And it was just going to be for the day. So when they sent the paperwork home, I looked at the paperwork and I said, oh, well, I just threw it to the side. So I guess when it was getting close to the time to go, the principal called and she said, Miss Davis, we didn't get Kim's paperwork back for the Disney trip. And I said, no, I didn't send it back. She says, Kim really wants to go. I said, no, she doesn't. We just left Disney World a couple of months ago. So she said, Miss Davis, she did not go with her friends. I said, yeah, no, she went with her family. So she said, but Kim really wants to go. I said, she'll be fine if she doesn't go. So she just kept, she said, I can't believe you send your child here and she's with me 6 or 7 hours a day and you don't trust me to take her on a trip. I said, to be honest with you, no, not on the airplane. No,
Right.
Kim's not going.
Something different. You're leaving the property.
Yeah, so, this was a big discussion. So Kim really wanted to go.
So you asked Kim and Kim said she wanted to go?
Yeah, she wanted to go. So I knew some of the first thing I asked, well, is there space for me to go? She says, no. we have all the chaperones we need. No, there's not space for you to go. So I said, okay, well then Kim won't go. And she said, Miss Davis. And we just went on and on. So finally, I talked to my husband about it and he was like, well, she really wanted to go. I don't want her to go either. But she wants to go with her friends. And then my husband talked to my father about it, and my father was anything Kim wanted, Kim could get. So he was like, well, the lady was right. You do send her with her every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just going to be a day trip. And I said, on the airplane. He said, well, she's been on the airplane before, but she was with me. Well, you couldn't save her any more than anybody else,
That's a great point.
So we just went through this. So finally, Kim got to go on the trip.
How old was Kim at the time?
I think Kim was about 9.
Oh, yeah.
That's tough. Yeah, that was a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
9 years
But
old.
would you have had that same reluctancy with Katina?
Oh, I wouldn't have worried about Katina going because she wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have had that problem.
Would you have not wanted to go, Katina, or you didn't have?
Like I said, Kim has always been much more independent with me. I didn't do that kind of. Oh no.
No, Katina would not have gone.
Wow.
I wouldn't even have to discuss about her. She wouldn't have gone.
Wow, that's interesting. When you told me that story, I will say that helped me to kind of let Morgan do a little more, because for me, I was like, if she didn't do it with me, it just couldn't be done. I think after that, I let her stay overnight at the Melwood camp. She stayed a whole week. And of course, I knew all of the people there. They knew me. We're still friends to this day. But just because of that, I will say that gave me the courage to allow Morgan to stay overnight, because I never thought about it like that. And when Miss Deborah told me that, I was like, I never thought about that. Because at some point in time, though, I guess it's like I can't go everywhere with her, but I have to be confident enough to know that she's going to be well taken care of.
Yeah.
Kim, do you remember that trip?
Do I remember the trip?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And you wanted to go.
Yes, I wanted to go.
Say, I wanted to go.
Yeah, she did. And they called me when they landed. They called me, and during the day while she was walking around, getting on the rides and everything, they called.
Wow.
And then when they got ready to leave Florida, they called to let me know they were leaving.
That's interesting that they took a day trip there.
Yeah,
that's gotta have been a expensive day trip.
Yeah.
A tiring day trip. You know how you walk around. Yeah. Now, did that set the tone for a lot of things that you allowed Kim to do moving forward?
Yeah, Kim, I would let Kim go as long as I knew some of the people that were going. Because Kim, she would go. Katina, I would have been worried about going somewhere because she just, that's not her.
Now, it's hard for me to believe that knowing Katina today. Goodness.
Katina didn't want to go anywhere. She went to Baptist youth camp one year, and they said Katina smiled before she got on the bus to leave. She didn't smile anymore until she got back home.
And I wet the bed almost every night I was there.
Good Lord.
No.
I'm not even going to tell y'all how old I was.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that.
Yeah, believe it.
Now,
But Kim was about, I think maybe 4 years old. And this friend, it was my niece's friend, but she really enjoyed being with Kim and doing things with Kim. And she had gone to, where is she? She was in ROTC or something, and she was doing something in New Jersey. And the whole family was going. And she wanted Kim to go. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. So she said, why can't she go? She says, we're going to take good care of her. And then her mother and father, well, we're going to take care of Kim. She's just like our baby. And so she said, it's just going to be for the day. So I went on and agreed for it. But she did a lot with Kim. And, so I let her go. So then the night before they got ready to leave, they called and said, well, we're going to leave early in the morning. So we'll just pick her up tonight. And I'm like, that's going to be 2 days.
Sleep over? Oh, no.
But I got her ready to go. And Kim had a good time. She went.
I love
But
that.
she never had a problem of going with anybody. But Katina, on the other hand, no.
Katina, that is, oh my goodness.
That was not my thing. There was one time, I don't remember how old Kim was. She was going to a camp. It was a day camp over at what was it, Barnaby Manor or something like that? Over near
Somewhere over there.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, she would cry like every day, which was like completely not like her at all. So my mother was like, yeah, she won't be finishing this.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
Something is not right. I don't know what it is, but yeah, she won't be finishing.
Yeah. That's one thing. I mean, and I guess with Morgan being nonverbal, that's the hardest part. But I have to read her well, if I see certain things. And that's what I would caution all parents. Here's Kim that can verbalize it, but for whatever reason, she didn't say why she was crying. But as we know, sometimes you got to read the signs and go with what your gut says.
She just was. There was somebody there. It was a little girl, and eventually I found out what it was. She used to always bother Kim. She would just mouthing off or whatever. And Kim is sort of quiet.
Yeah.
And but she will take so much.
Yeah.
And then she will let you know. So anyway, Kim came home one day and she says, Mom, it was a big fight today. So I'm thinking Kim's going to tell me about somebody else, that was fighting or whatever. And I said, Kim, what happened? So she said, well, it was me and Kim Washington. She kept bothering me and we had a big fight.
Oh, wow.
He said, but she's not going to bother me anymore.
And that's it right there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
You won't bother her no more.
Kim, can you remember
I was shocked. I could not believe it. And the teacher didn't even call and tell me anything about it.
But it's
and after Kim told me, I questioned it. And they said, no, we didn't, because she bothered her every day. Every day she was in her face or taking her jewelry or doing something. She said, and we did not even bother you with that.
Yeah, because she was fully defending herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yep.
Now, Katina, you didn't mention that you have 3 beautiful kids. I love my baby. 2 of them go to Towson with Jeremy, and then we have younger Corey. So I want to ask you, because I'm not just saying that just to say it. I love, love, love Katina's kids. They basically came up with our children. Mm-hmm. And when I say the sweetest and most respectful, I'm serious. I just love her kids. But I want to say, how did they deal with, how did you explain Kim, having a aunt with different abilities to them? Because I will say, being around my daughter, Morgan, it was just like, again, it was just like fair game, because because they have an aunt with different abilities, it made them a lot more compassionate. And I will say that with Jeremy as well. So did you have to answer any questions about Aunt Kim? How did that come about?
Um, it's not something we ever had a conversation about. I mean, my kids are definitely aware. What I will say is the high school that they went to, um, it's a Catholic school in Arlington. They have a couple of programs. So one is called Expanded Services, where they have students there who have Down syndrome and other intellectual disabilities. And in Morgan's junior year and her senior year, she worked with the Expanded Services program, and she talks about one of the young ladies all the time. She actually sent Morgan a text message a couple weeks ago because it was Morgan's birthday. But yeah, so Morgan, I think definitely, I'm not sure if her interest in supporting the Expanded Services program at school came from her experience with Kim, but she definitely enjoyed working with the students. And the young lady's name that she worked with most closely, her name was Evie. And some days Morgan would come home and she was like, "Oh, mommy, she is so bad. She was so bad today."
Girl, I'm telling you, they got their personality because y'all know how Morgan is. Morgan is not shy, Kim. Morgan's gonna tell you she get out of her face. She doesn't verbalize it, but she sure shows get out of my face.
Yeah. Well, Kim will let you know when she doesn't want to be bothered. Definitely.
What do you do, Kim, during that time when you don't want to be bothered? What do you do?
Play on the iPad, watch TV.
So it's like
In her room with her door closed.
When the Katina was there with the three little ones, they would they always wanted to go to Kim's room. I mean, Kim's had, she has her music, she has iPad, she has video, she has the works in her room. So they would always want to go in her room. So sometimes she would let them come in, and she'd let them stay in there for a while. And then Kim would take them by the hand and walk them to the door, go to your mother.
Like, I've had enough.
Yeah, that's what she would do.
So Kim, tell us some of the things that you enjoy. Like when you come home, tell us some of the things you like to do.
What do I like to do?
You know what you do.
I like listening to music, watch TV, play games.
Okay.
Be in there singing.
All right. Now, Kim, when y'all go out to your program, and I want to say socialization is a big part, getting people out into the community. And I think we all experienced that during COVID because naturally, everybody kind of went backwards socially because of COVID and because of them staying in the house. So we now understand. I don't know if that happened. I think a lot came out of COVID, but I think understanding socialization is a big part of who makes us who we are. So do you enjoy going out to your programs and socializing with people when you go to the library or when you go to Planet Fitness? Do you enjoy meeting new people?
Yes.
You do? Okay. Okay.
Tell them some of the things you guys did during COVID on Zoom.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
They did Zoom every day. Tell them, how you used to play games. Tell them what you did when you were on Zoom.
We played bingo, Pictionary. I took a nutrition class. Exercise class.
Okay. Do you like to cook or help cook?
We did a cooking class.
Okay, so you like to cook?
Yes.
Oh wow, I hate to cook, so I would love for you to come over and cook for me.
Oh, I hate cooking too.
So do
That's
you?
really good that they kept you guys active during
Yes,
COVID.
every day
That's
they would
really good.
add something. Yes.
That's really good.
Mhm.
So do you like going to get your nails done or your hair done?
Yes.
Okay, those are things that you get. So you have you? Do you have your favorite hairdresser?
That's my mother's friend in my hair.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
See,
we
those
just
are
lost
things.
her though. She's been doing our hair for 27, well, my hair for 20 some years, and she decided to go to work full time.
Okay.
But Kim has still been able to get hers done.
Okay. And see, these are things that a lot of people, I guess, don't really think about downplay. Because I will say, those are some of the things that I wish Morgan was into. I know some parents may be like, "Nah, you don't wish that," but no, I do because
Mhm.
I become the hairdresser and I become the nail person. Like somebody just asked me, my nail person was like, "Does your daughter like getting nails done?" I said, "No, because that would be an added thing for me. No, I'm not interested in doing her. No, I'm really not. I love the fact that Kim is so independent.
Mm.
That is a great thing. I'm telling you, because I think like even for me with Morgan, part of her, I'm her friend. I'm her. Jeremy says you're her best friend. I'm her shadow, her best friend. I'm her hairdresser. I entertain her. She puts her iPad in my lap and wants me to play with her with it. And I'm like, I'm watching TV. She's not interested in TV and all of that type of stuff. So I applaud the fact that Kim kind of has her own set of friends.
Mhm.
She has like the activity that she likes to do. She has her quiet time when she doesn't want to be bothered. So I think she's a well-rounded person. That is awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If
Yes,
I had a kitchen in the basement, I wouldn't see Kim
really.
because she stays in the basement. She will walk up them steps 7 or 8 times in the evening when she come home, but she is down in the basement. She
Wow.
does her own thing. She doesn't be up here up under me. She'll come up and talk a little bit, and she'll go on back down.
Just yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's something that is great to have that part. Now, Katina, I know we talked a little bit the other day, which I was a little surprised about the interactions between you and Kim. Like some people be like, they argue all day, they fuss. Katina was telling me a story about her and Kim had gotten into a fight, and I was like, Katina, tell us because I say that too because Jeremy and Morgan were like 6 years apart and they had totally different interests. Jeremy did, he let her have her way with everything. So I think sometimes people don't know that the interactions between siblings still happens. Give us some examples of how that.
I don't remember what it was. And it could have been that I was being bossy. That I'm gonna go with that because that's probably what it was.
Kim
But
had had it. Kim had
we
had it,
yeah,
huh?
we had a fight and she sprained my finger. I had to go to the ER and get
Oh
a
my goodness.
thing. I had like a splint. And so, like I said, we used to go to this youth program with my neighbors. It was called Awana. And so we were at the thing one night, and one of the things we did was game time. And so I couldn't participate because I had the thing on my finger. And so one of the leaders there was like, how did you hurt your finger? And I didn't give him an answer. And he was like, were you fighting with your sister? And I could not believe that he said that like right off the bat. But yeah, so I don't remember how old we were. Probably, I would say maybe like I would say maybe like 10 and 6 or something like that. I don't remember, but yeah. Probably not much older than that. Yeah.
Yeah, my
What,
nephew, my
what
nephew
lesson,
used to
what
say,
lesson did you learn after that?
Did she
Well,
learn any?
I probably asserted my bossiness from a distance. But one of the other things I was remembering is when Kim was in high school, remember she took like a class or was doing something at Prince George's Community College on Saturday?
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what it was.
Wow, you took classes at the college, Kim. Did you like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really good. You are just all the way well rounded. You're doing more than anybody else. I mean, you are really out there living your life. That is
She
amazing.
loved it, for about 2 years. And then I don't know what happened that third year. It was some of the people that came in, they were completely different from the ones that have been there all the time. And there was a lot of confusion. A boyfriend and a girlfriend got in an argument. I mean, it was just a whole bunch going on. Kim was out of there. She didn't want to go there anymore. She said, no, I don't want to do those classes because I would, usually try to give her some freedom. So I would
Mhm.
drop her off and, I would stay in the area and come back when class was over. But she didn't want to do that anymore. And then I found out what was going on. And I said, oh, okay, we'll have to find something else. But I would let her try, anything she asked to try, I would let her do it.
Now,
She,
these classes for general public classes or
uh,
those with different abilities and challenges?
well, like she wanted to ice skate. I remember that. She wanted to ice skate. So I signed her up for class. So she goes to ice skating down the Tucker Road, and she was doing real good. They were teaching her how to stop and all that. She had the little, I forget what you call it, that she was holding on, but
Mhm.
she was doing it. And I think one day my niece was there with her, and Kim was just skating, and some kind of way she fell on my niece's leg. And her leg was sprained. Kim was fine. My niece's leg was sprained. So after that, Kim said, "Okay, but I don't really want to do the
I love that.
skating anymore."
I
But she
love that.
just tried roller skating. She was just trying. She was determined she was going to ride a bike.
How did that work out?
Now all the kids were out there on their bikes. Everybody had the training wheels off because most of the kids were about the same age. Like the oldest one was Katina's age, and the youngest one was Kim's age. So everybody was riding the bike. Kim still had her training wheels. It took her a little bit longer. So this one particular day, I don't know what happened to the training wheel, but it got bent or something. So my husband took it off. He says, Kim, I'll take it tomorrow and get it fixed or get you a new one. And I just can't do it today because it was time for him to go to bed because he would get up early to go to work. So Kim was determined. So she just takes the bike without the training wheels and she pushes it up the street, because all the kids are riding the bike. So I came in the house and I heard my next door neighbor and she was just a screaming. So I came to the door. Kim is coming down the street riding the bike.
I love it.
And she was so excited. She was just screaming. I knew she was going to do it. I knew she was going to do it. And from that day on, Kim rode her bike.
So listen, from the bike to the car, what about car and driving? Kim, do
She
you
never tried the car.
Mm-mm.
No, she hasn't tried the car,
drive?
but
Okay.
she got that bike.
But I love the fact that she's so determined to do things. I
Absolutely.
love that. That independence is an awesome thing. But I also applaud the fact that you, Miss Deborah, let her because
Mhm.
sometimes, and I'm not even gonna lie, I
Yeah.
won't even say I did that with just Morgan. I did that a lot of the times with Jeremy. I think sometimes it's hard for you to let your kid let go and let them fly. And I will say, I one day Morgan, I didn't know she knew how to come down the steps. And she would go to the steps
Mhm.
and go up them go up the step. No, it was her going up the steps and down the steps because Morgan doesn't pay attention to stuff. If she sees something, she just loses all sense of reality and she doesn't put her safety first. So she was going up the steps one day and I was like, ah! I'm running. And Jeremy was like, Mom, she knows how to go up the steps. I said, she does. He said, we let her do it all the time. I'm like, then she was coming down the steps. I had the same reaction. He was like, Mom, she knows how to do it. But what I did notice is that she knew what she couldn't do. So she held on a little more and she came down the steps on her own. But I say that to say that sometimes I think, you know, we don't really understand how they do the things that they do. But I think sometimes you have to stand back. And I'm not talking about anything that will put them in danger, but sometimes you have to stand back and let the Lord show you what they can do. And I did do that. And I was like, Lord, I didn't know she could do it. He said, Mom, she's been doing this for so long. He said, you're the problem. I can't say that I'm not. Yeah.
But I think after dealing with Katina, because Katina she would hardly do anything. And then when she became a teenager, you know, a lot of times her friends would want to go places and do that. And Katina, she just didn't want to go, but she would put the blame on me and my husband. My parents won't let me go. But she did not want to go.
Like to concerts and stuff like that, Eva, Katina?
I mean, yeah, I was always a homebody, but this is one thing. So when I went to college, I went to community college for a couple of years. And then I went to George Mason and I was going to stay on campus. And I just asked my mother about this like a couple of years ago, but I was going to stay on campus. I had gotten my roommate assignment. I remember her name to this day and everything. And maybe like the week before moving, I went and I was like, I think I'm not going to live on campus because y'all already have to pay out of state tuition. And that's just going to be too expensive. And so my mother was like, oh, okay. And so that was that. And I've been out of college for almost 30 years. A couple of years ago, I said, you know what I just thought about? I said, there was no stuff at the house. Y'all hadn't bought me nothing for no dorm. And my mother said,
they knew you weren't going.
Because we knew you wasn't going.
Wow. Katina, I would have never thought that about you.
Yeah.
Wow. So you stayed there. You never stayed on campus?
Never.
Oh. I had a dream one night that I woke up and there was a spider on my ceiling. I said, yeah, we're not doing that.
Oh my goodness, Katina, I would have never thought that about you. Yeah.
I'm sure your children are just opposite. They were ready to go,
huh? Yes. That is absolutely right. And my son, he's in his junior year. He comes home when the dorms are shut down and they have to come home. Yeah. So yes.
That's how Jeremy was. That college life, once you get there, it's like when he came home during COVID, we could kill each other. I was like, when are you going back? And he was like, I can't wait to go back. I'm like, the feeling is mutual. I told my sister, I said, they act like that you're not ready for them to go. Newsflash, I'm ready too. Yes, goodbye.
Yeah.
Wow. But did you and Kim ever have things where y'all went places together? Because even though my sister was a year older than me, sometimes we enjoyed some of the things together. Like she had her set of friends, I had my set of friends, and then there were things that we just did together. Were they things that you and Kim enjoyed doing together? And Kim, you can answer that too. Did you enjoy doing things with Katina?
Yes.
Like what's some of the things you enjoyed with her?
Go shopping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most of the stuff was like church stuff from what I remember, like Sunday school, the youth organization that we used to go to with my neighbor. like in terms of, I've always really been a homebody. Like I don't, I've
She
yeah,
didn't go anywhere.
yeah.
Good Lord. So how does the adult sisters look like? I mean, what do y'all enjoy doing now?
I'm still a homebody.
Yeah, you are.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean a lot like so we always did like family vacations together.
Okay.
And that was mostly because my mother, it wasn't about me. My mother wanted to spend vacations with her grandchildren. So
Yeah,
we
that's
would
about right.
We
yeah,
went on vacation before them.
we
But the kids, the grandkids do enhance it. I'm gonna say my mother
Yes.
is the same way. She said, I love my kids, but I adore my grandkids.
Mhm.
right,
Yeah,
right.
it's more
So
fun.
like during we haven't done it too much since COVID, I don't think, but like during the Christmas holidays, we will always go somewhere. Spring break, we would always go somewhere. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
Kim's always up for a trip.
But Kim likes to go, and Katina never did like going, so
Mhm. Well,
Kim, what's
I'm
your favorite vacation spot? Where's your favorite place to go? Vacation.
Williamsburg.
Williamsburg. Where around in
Williamsburg.
Williamsburg? What do you do? Like Busch Gardens or water parks or something?
No, we go to the outlets.
Okay.
Oh, she
no,
loves shopping. Now, Kim, I can hang with you on that one. You can shop till we drop, honey.
all of the even the grandchildren like going to Williamsburg. We will go to Florida or Myrtle Beach or Charleston, different places, and
Mhm.
they come back. We haven't been to Williamsburg yet.
That has been like an annual family
They love
vacation
going.
since probably I'm gonna say like 1998 before we even had kids.
Wow.
So every year we would go every year like Labor Day weekend and stay the whole week after. And of course, I have an older cousin who has two kids that are a little bit older than my kids. So once she and I got married and started having kids and then they started going to school, that threw off the whole Labor Day thing. So we had to back it up a week. But we have been going to Williamsburg every single year. So it was like
That's
that's
a
just
great
like a
road
family.
trip.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a great road trip. I love it's like now I don't know about everybody, but I like road trips now. You don't have to have
Mhm.
any restrictions as far as the airplane and everything.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me and my husband just went to New York this weekend and we drove. We had an awesome drive. I love driving, even though I did all the driving. But when it comes to mountains and stuff, yeah, I'm like, you got to get in the driver's seat. But when with the ride to New York, it was just that nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, so but I'm when I tell you, I mean, this has been so enjoyable. I really I got to know a lot about you, Kim, because I'm not around Kim as much. I think when I've come around, I think I came to a couple of the kids' birthday parties, and you're right,
Mhm.
Kim is so quiet. So, it's like Kim, like everybody leave me alone. So I'm used to
Mhm.
that with Morgan. And she talks when she wants, and then it's like, how some people say, they said verbalization sometimes is overrated. This man told me about that. I think it gives you a chance to kind of observe people more. So I do enjoy hearing about you, Kim, and your accomplishments. And
Mhm.
again, the whole purpose of this podcast was for other people to see all that you've accomplished so that gives them hope. I know for me, Morgan's 20, and it gives me hope to understand and know that she's just scratched the surface. If it's the Lord's will, I'm looking forward to getting to know more about her and more of the things that she can accomplish.
Mhm.
And I think for me, part of my issue was kind of I think not only does the world limit her, I used to limit her. I used to limit her and make it seem like she couldn't do certain things because she couldn't speak. And God had to really show me all that she could do. And now knowing that I hold her more accountable and I kind of push the envelope each time a little more with her. So
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate you, Kim, just letting us, talk about your life and all that you've accomplished because you give all of us hope. So those are my
Absolutely.
closing remarks. Bunny, I'm gonna go ahead over to you, let you say something, then Katina, and then Kim and Miss Deborah, y'all can close us out.
Yeah, it has been a pleasure meeting you, Kim, and speaking with you about things that you love doing. It gives me hope as well for my autistic grandson who is nonverbal as well. And, you know, the phrase is a kiddo with different abilities grows up to be an adult with different abilities. So if we take the time to provide that developmental care that they need now and instructions and everything, that I am praying that um, they can grow up to live a beautiful life just like you, Kim. I mean, you are adventurous, you get out there and you don't mind going out. I too used to shelter my grandson because I felt because he was autistic, nonverbal, he could not do a lot of things. But I have since learned that he can do many things, but he do those many things differently
Mm-hmm.
and he approaches it differently. So I had to change my mindset and then listen to you talk how much you've gone places and mom, how you've had to release a little bit and let her go. It just helps me to understand to release a little bit more and let him go as well, especially if he is surrounded by those that have been caring for him in school and things like that. So this has been very helpful to me. And I'm just so excited to see the 25-year-old Grayson, Paula Morgan, and what a maybe 10 and 15-year-old Grayson would be like. I'm looking forward to that. Your story has definitely inspired me. Definitely.
Yeah, Katina.
So I enjoyed the interview, and I want to say congratulations, and I'm proud of you, Kim, because my mother and I talked a few weeks ago, and she was like, what are we going to be doing on this call, like what are we, and I said it's just a conversation.
Mhm.
And my mother was like, well, I've watched before, and I don't know that I have the same experiences. I said, this everybody's experience is going to be different. It's going to be a conversation about our experience. Well, does Paula work from home during the day? Can she take phone calls? I'm gonna have to talk to her. So then she was like, because I don't know. And Kim was saying that she doesn't want to do this. So me and Paula talked a couple of weeks ago. And she was like, oh, yeah, I talked to your mom on the phone. And then I talked to my mother. She said, oh, yeah, I talked to Paula. She said, we're just going to have a conversation. I said, yeah, that's what I told you.
Right.
And then so yesterday I was at my mom's house. I said, Kim, you going to be on the podcast tomorrow? She was like, yeah. I said, oh,
Mm,
okay.
We're glad that you were on the podcast,
yeah,
Kim. We're
yes,
so
I
glad.
am.
Prayer changes things.
It does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Prayer changes things.
I want
Yes.
to give you and Kim a chance to, close us out and I guess in terms of encouraging other parents, you
Hmm.
know, to kind of, not saying that they're going to take the same path you take, but what advice would you give to some of the parents, Miss Deborah, that's just starting out this journey?
I would say don't think of your child as being disabled. Think of them as being differently able.
I love it.
That way they can do, it's not limiting them not be able to do anything. They can do it. They're just going to do it different.
Mhm.
And so, that's what I would encourage other people to just look at their child like that. You know, they say my child is disabled, but I'm with that child every day, and I see things that they do that you don't. Because I
Mhm.
remember when Kim was younger, the teacher called one time, said she was going to have to put Kim in
a non-verbal group or something like that, because she couldn't tell her name, she couldn't tell her telephone number, she couldn't tell her anything. So I said, well, I don't know who you're talking about because Kim know all those things. So I asked Kim about it. Kim says, she's mean. I don't want her coming to my house. That's why I don't tell her my telephone number where I live. So,
Here's
just
a
think of
message.
being differently able,
Yeah.
and not disabled. But yeah, Kim has accomplished a lot of things.
Yes.
You don't write them off.
That's right.
Because I had a GPS with Kim before they ever became, a thing. Kim, you could take her somewhere, she could take you back. No problem at all. Oh, that's not the right way. We didn't go that way before.
Wow.
So, she has a great memory.
Mm.
She'll ask me things now that happened 40 years ago. I don't remember, Kim. But just think of your child as being differently able, and just continue to pray for them, and
That's right.
make sure their changes. Just go along with them, give them chance to try things, and let's go from there.
Good advice.
Well, Kim, do you have anything to say to us?
I attend Cornerstone Baptist Community Church, located in Temple Hills,
I
Maryland.
love it. Well, we want you to know how much of a blessing that you are. And I always tell people, my Morgan is a special blessing that God gave to me and me only. There's no one ever in the world that will be like Morgan ever. And so I think as parents, another thing is appreciating them for who they are, because they are one of a kind. They are one of a kind. And God has to entrust that special package to you. He had to really say, I believe that this person can take care of them. And so I think that just like we invest in our other kids and we invest in our other, just our jobs and everything, it comes down to investing in your child, no matter what their abilities may look like, investing in your child. And so I definitely appreciate you guys being on here. I definitely appreciate you sharing your story, Kim, being so transparent and letting us just talk about you in such a positive way. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yes. So moving forward, guys, I pray that again that Kim just continues to just excel in life. Continue to excel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, keep soaring, Kim. Just keep soaring and keep making us proud of you. All right.
And you can see some of the singing on our website, the church's website,
Okay.
cbccmd.org. And they're on there.
Can you text that to me, Miss Deborah,
Okay.
please, if you don't mind?
Do you want to text that, please?
Yes.
Next to her.
Yeah, text me that website, please. Yeah, because what we're doing too is we're putting things on our website too to be an encouragement to others. So I would love to put that on there if you guys don't mind.
This is definitely encouraging because I want people to know that have different abilities that they can still get out and try things.
And most importantly, this I know I keep going on, but another thing that I would like to be highlighted is even in our church world, we are definitely pushing our church world to embrace our special needs community, because they need to have activities and they need to have things that are made available to them. And I love the fact that your church is doing that. And Bunny, we never talked about this, but one of our young people's president came to me and he was like, I would love to get to the point where I meet with you and Bunny, because I want to start incorporating more of a special needs for I mean activities for our special abilities. He said, because I want them to be included. So I think that's something too that I'm taking away from this, is the fact that Kim is 48, and I love the fact that your church has already been so active in including her and
Mhm.
not excluding her from
Yeah, we
activities,
always
putting her in
have.
the choir, letting her be an active part of that community. That is so important, very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that we have been talking about is our churches just kind of opening up and getting involved in things that get putting things in place that our special needs community can be involved in. We need that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So with that being said, ladies, thank you so much. We appreciate this. And we pray that this is a blessing to others as much as it was a blessing to us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Thank you for
inviting
having
us.
me.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. I
Thank
appreciate you, Kim, for coming.
Good
Y'all have a good
night.
one.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye.
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 Bye.